meeting to order, 3 o'clock. Approval of the minutes. So moved. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Public comment?
We love our machines, but and they make life easier. Hopefully this ordinance will protect our forest from their continued use. But this idea of continuing to build roads so some people can ride around in miniature cars and trucks is absurd. How did this even happen? Well, it happens because of a worn out, obsolete concept called multiple use. It also happens because you got a Chamber of Commerce clamoring for more. More of what? Noise? Traffic? It happens because you got majority of our state assembly bought by Polaris, Arctic Cat, Honda. It happens because you got these same corporations brainwashing our youth that you're all in if you're on a ATV. If we were able to tell Aldo Leopold that we're building roads and bridges through our beautiful forests so some people can ride around on miniature cars and trucks, he would declare, "What have we become?" Thank you.
Well, mention the trails, how are we coming on that ATV trail, is that getting gravelled or?
I'm sure that'll be one of our reports, so.
Okay. How about that stream crossing back there, we was holding rocking last winter, that? That'd be a report? That'd be a report too?
I would think so.
What I got?
Anybody else? Guess nobody else wants to talk today. What's wrong with you?
I got lots to say, but we'll just wait on it.
Maybe you have laryngitis or something. Okay, we'll go to the monthly reports. First up is Parks and Rec.
Mike is currently touring around with an insurance guy with that project, so. You get me, Mike got the bridge permit for the 100-foot clear span of Record Creek, so we're good to go on that. We got the engineered plans from CWI, they needed some minor adjusting, so they're working on that, and we're good to go there. Mike and I met with Scott Jones and a little bit with Andy Montner toward the end of our meeting about some work this summer. One of those projects is the possibility of graveling some of that trail that didn't get done in the winter. We wanna work with Highway and they wanna work with us. The advantage there is keeping some of this money from grants to help the bottom line as well as hopefully get some quality work done. With the weather we're having, that might be possible.
Is it dry enough for you to be able to go on some of
It's
that?
hard to say, on some of it for sure. So Mike's goal is to hopefully get some of the bottom end primary gravel and then work out with the final crush top coat. If that's not gonna work down there, we'll just have to do, some of the front end gravel, that's for sure gonna be good enough. And fit out the rest come winter. Mike said it looked real good down there, it might be possible, but you know how it is, there's a big difference between a load and a truck.
You wanna find a soft spot, send some trucks.
Yeah, they'll show up. brought about the disc golf course on the Dotson property, he's interested in doing another 9 holes there, which there's plenty of room for that there. I think he's gonna put together more of a proposal and possibly an agenda item next month for you guys to do or deny. I'm not sure what the cost is gonna look like, but Mike will be working on that with Jonathan.
Or something for next summer, I guess.
At this point, probably. Let's see. Chicken scratch from Mike. Yeah, that's about it, things are going well. That's all I got.
Any questions for Mike Sub? Go ahead, Dan.
Alright, timber sales. We got a few guys cutting some wood now. Peter Crone is cutting red pine off the fire lane. It's a red pine final harvest, so that's looking pretty nice. Future Wood has 2 lump sum popple jobs going, one in the hills and one out east. Feeling popple there. Those are both going really well too, it's nice and dry, so. Ted Struck, he's been hauling wood where he can. I think last time Jared mentioned that he did some damage to Weirgo Road. 2 weeks ago, we got that fixed up. They got about, it was 32 loads of material hauled in. They leveled that all out with a dozer, turned out pretty nice. I think it was 10 loads of primary and 22 loads of gravel they hauled in there, so turned out pretty nice. Other than that,
Work.
Hopkins was hauling, and then
Michael Cook spread?
yeah, Michael Cook was spreading the gravel. And then Northwest Hardwoods is also hauling wood from the winter off of Worcester Road. Going fine. Other than that, we've been barking. Roy and Jake have been clearing the wood on that for the most part. We're kind of wrapping that up on the last one for spring/summer here, and we'll transition into getting all that stuff set up for the fall market season. What it? Anything else?
Any questions?
How much wood is still left out there from last winter or previous winter?
Quite a bit, quite a bit.
Eric, I guess you're up.
So the stream restoration work that we have to do from the old Blacko, that was part of the meeting with Scott Jones and Andy. And looking at getting that done in the next week or 2, hopefully, we get the right timing of when they're available. Conditions are such that we can do it, so we'll get that done and get that closed out and get a final inspection probably from Nolan Kriegel, the forest hydrologist on that, to make sure it's good to go. And get that case closed for us. Let's see here. Had a wildlife habitat meeting with Emma Hansen, she spoke, I think last month. As well as Josh Spiegel, he was in her position before she was, and he's now the elk, the main guy on elk. Ultimate's ready. Well, I'm used to mine.
You're kicking scratches.
I've been reading my own for 35 years. Yeah, so Emma, we talked about mowing opportunities and challenges that we're facing here this summer and what they can help out with. They have some opportunities for stuff to do some mowing for us in some areas, especially in the Lee Lake, which is grouse management area. There's a grant we received a couple years back that Josh put together through the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. There's still a little bit of, there's some road work to do, a culvert or 2 to replace, as well as some signs to put up on, it's actually off the snowmobile trail off, River Road. So we're hoping to get that all done this summer, and case will be close. They put in a couple of really nice food plots back there. Yeah, so that was a good meeting, productive. Me and the guys had lots of trainings in the last month. Dane and a couple others went to a log scaling and grading workshop in Antigo. I think, NTC put that on. Keep us up to snuff on what's going on with log scaling. We had a visual merchandising workshop at the Final River State Forest that Derek actually was key on putting that together and inviting us. That was very good, done by UW Stevens Point. A couple professors were there and they had a sawmill. We looked at some logs and the defects and cut them open to see how it affected the board and how that translates to marking based on what you see on the tree to try to capture value while growing more value. Steel to the birds. That was a really good training. I think we all went to that one. Jake went to some Kotar habitat type training. Habitat typing is used in management for determining if a site is best for oak or best for northern hardwood. Other stuff too, but that's the main thing we use it for. And that's an interesting thing where he developed this Kotar. John Kotar is a professor. He developed this to look at ground flora of plants, flowers, and any little plant. There's hundreds of them, and they will determine the richness of the soil, water holding capacity, basically. Northern hardwoods require the richest pesticides, and oak does better. Oak does well on them as well, but on a little bit drier site or poorer, oak will do better, partly because there's less competition from the northern hardwoods. It's interesting stuff. If you care, you could come to the office and we can talk about it all day. Dane and I went to Trails End Camp to talk to middle and high schoolers about forestry and, hopefully trying to recruit some local kids to get interested and we can hire them in 15 years when we need them. That went well. They're always fun. They say the darndest things. Any good quotes from this year, Dane?
Not as good as last year.
Your last year. Can't say. Alright. There's a good classic. This wasn't mine, but what kind of pine tree is this? And it goes, a porcupine. Good guess. Not quite. Summer tour was last week. Was that last week? Yeah, it was. Juneau County and Vernon County split that. It was an excellent tour in my opinion. Phil was there. They have some very large campgrounds, 300 sites on the one, over 100 on the other one. I can't remember.
Except the grass looked about like that table.
Not much grass.
They're a whole lot different than here right now.
Well, it's just,
Plus it's pure sand. It's, the forestry aspect was jack pine related for the most part. We went to Air Force bombing range and had a F-35 fly over. That was the highlight of my life. It was pretty cool. Special for us. So,
Did we get it right?
they got the Cessna flying right above. Yeah, sure.
We didn't get it right.
No rides. We got to climb the control tower though. Some people were up there when he was flying around, blowing our ears out.
Did you notice they gave us all earplugs and none of the staff there had them in?
Huh? It's loud, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Moving on. Yesterday was our 5-year DNR audit. It's mostly related to financial stuff and record keeping. It went very well. Just a couple tidy up things today. They emailed for 2 items that Heidi got back to them within 10 minutes. They said that we are doing an excellent job. And also they said Heidi got commended on that, as well as Jamie and their portion of it went very smoothly, so that's good to hear. I was fairly nervous about that. Small portion of that was related to certification. That went pretty good too. As you know, we're kinda out of compliance, so to speak, until September first, implementation. Good feedback about that. And we have all of our contracts and performance bonds are in from spring bid opening as well as extensions, so we're sitting good on everything. Except for the Duncan sale and the Norton sale, both of those gave us cash for the bond, decided to close those, so. We'll do a motion on that later in the agenda, to approve closing those, taking those bonds and looking for them. That's all I got. Fairly busy month.
I'll just let the committee too, next year, the summer tour will be, I thought it was in Sawyer County, but it's gonna be in Taylor County. So it'll be one of the closer ones, being due in some time, let the rest of the committee know just in case. Okay, now we go down to the appointment of the trail committee.
Heidi has the letters from.
I got 7 of them here. Before I open them, I'd really like to know what the heck we're gonna do. I mean, are we gonna limit it to the number of hours? Cause I would presume it would go from the committee to the staff to us, is the way I foresee this. Does everybody agree with that?
What's that now?
For the trails, committee make recommendations, the staff is one that's gotta defend them, the DNR, and then come to us for the final approval on the trails.
Yeah, I would say, so you're asking what the ad hoc committee's gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say they could expect and make recommendations. And as long as it follows, you know, they might need a little bit of training, but they would be able to field verify, make recommendations.
Yeah.
And help with signage, you know, it looks like signs are on the agenda, so if we need signs put up, anything related to the trails, I think they could help out with.
And then, I mean, now if there's a motion to pay them, do we wanna limit that to hours, or how are we control that?
So, I think the motion was per diem per meeting, so it wasn't really discussed as far as the time spent if they're on a trail.
Okay.
I guess if you wanted to pay the same as per diem, up to 3.5 hours in a day would be $40.55 for over that.
Okay.
I guess I'm open to suggestions on that.
That's what I was thinking, I just wanna make sure.
That works for me.
And then do we have to have the committee meetings when the staff is available, cause that's where the cross is gonna happen?
So I'm gonna guess that most of the committee's probably gonna be, or some might be working during the day, so.
Yeah, that's,
I would say they can meet when they wanted. We like the ad hoc for the help look at all those trails, right? A lot of times they met in the afternoons. Evening.
I think it was after 6 or 6:30,
I would think they could make that determination.
I would say that, yeah, that would be
yeah,
helpful.
I'm just asking,
if it
cause we
became
have
a
a
problem, like,
blank
if
sheet right now.
Yeah, if it became a problem and we're like, hey, you know, Garrett's gotta be there for this or whatever, and you know, he's working too many nights or whatever, we could probably address that as it comes up.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Probably you guys would set their first meeting.
Yeah, but they gotta kind of organize themselves first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to let their whole structure,
Yeah.
Probably have an electric chair or something there.
Yep.
and since they're going to be paid, we will have to have an agenda for them.
And they could have.
Actually, their chair is gonna have to set their agenda.
Or Heidi could write it by direction of the chair, kinda like.
Yeah.
What she does for.
We can get it out there, once we know the first date is nothing but organization, setting up committees, staff, whatever. That's all I've got, so, anybody have anything else on the committee? you want me to read them, or do you want me to just pass them around? I don't know how long some of them are. This is the shortest I've ever had for Jay do communication. Okay, the first one's, I'll just pass them around. Read them. First one's Jay.
Probably ain't sharp enough to get hurt on, Phil.
Okay, those are the ones I get hurt on. The second one is from Bob Grunset. Stuck to the envelope. This is from Dave Williams. Sort of a request as well as sort of an autobiography. Why he thinks he should be considered. Third one is Christopher Elwinger. Next one's from Don Mansky. Next one's Ross Elwinger.
Who was before Ross? Chris.
Chris.
Well, Don Mansky, between that.
And Ron Elwinger.
We need 7, is that 7?
7 was requested, yeah.
I'll make a motion to do 7.
Go ahead, Don, I'll let you.
I heard you talk about this per diem and stuff, if that's the case, I'm not on that list. I'm not interested in it. I retired, I'm off payroll, I'm not getting on the county's payroll or nobody's payroll.
Then you don't have to
A
turn in
volunteer
payroll.
position don't get paid.
Then Don, you can accept the position, just not turn in.
I'm not gonna get paid.
Right, you can accept the position of the committee, but just not turn in no time sheet.
That'll work with that understanding.
Janie will not pay you without that request, trust me.
Actually, Don, there's many meetings I don't write down that I'm here anyhow, so, yeah, you can do it.
I thought it was a volunteer position, that's what I applied for, that's what's, the thing I have to do. Gotta be paid,
That's kinda how it started, Don, but the rest of the board, due to past precedent, changed that.
Anybody have any more discussion on the motion?
So do we need to make the motion on which the appointments are, because we got 3, 2, and 1 year appointments?
Oh, yeah.
You let the committee figure that out.
I agree with that. Some may not want it for what we would give it, and I think they need to decide that amongst themselves. Yeah.
So like have them vote on who the 3, 2, 1 year appointments are.
Anything else on the motion?
I mean, that being said, I mean, just as somebody gets a 1 year appointment, they don't mean at the end of 1 year, they don't get reappointed for a 3 year term. That just staggers things, so.
That was just so everybody didn't put all at once.
Right.
So if they're all 3 year, then
Yeah.
we don't have, if, let's say they're all buddies or whatever, and they said, hey, I'm not doing it, you know, I'm not gonna, then we don't have as much continuity, so it's more of a 1 year guy, probably expectation is, there's a good chance he'd probably be on another 3 years and just be, just so we have it staggered. Right, so yeah, we're not.
Yeah.
Careful. It'll take a little bit of learning what they're doing and, getting set up.
I'll take the 1 year spot if you're asking.
Huh?
I'll take that 1 year spot if you're asking.
And bring that up at your
Committee.
committee meeting, Don.
What?
It's gonna be sorted out in the committee, so they'll bring that up in your first committee meeting.
Okay, all
I'll make
those,
it easy, cause I'm sure if you're okay with 1, I'm sure there will be, some will want 3 and some will want the 2, and that'll stagger them then.
you seconded, Gary.
Actually, Phil and John did it at the same time, so take your pick.
Or more.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed? If you guys want to here sometime, sit down and see if you wanna pick a date, I mean, you've got, well, 5 of them represented, I mean, considering Rod's talking first, but try and get a date set going on this. And they will be public, there'll be an agenda, there'll be a public hearing, you know. Okay, anything else on that? Approval of the ATV sign.
I got some estimates for signs. So the off-road use sign, I think we talked about ordering 24 of those and they'd be placed at campgrounds and various places, easy to see, and they'll explain what the deal is. And the blazers will be different colors for different things. Those are the ones with the QR code and everything on them. Yeah, the off-road use sign. And then that's the ones that have, legend kinda on it.
Heidi, did you add the science studio stuff up?
Oh, to a grand total for them?
Yeah.
I can. So the large signs, their off-road use signs will come to 3,648. The blazers would come to 1,008 for a grand total of 4,656. So now keep in mind, like, BCE being 14,700 also includes a bunch of posts that this one doesn't. So they're not all 100% even with each other because they have different items available. So if you want like this sign from this one and these signs from that one and posts from that one, we can do that too.
I see Rent a Flash has got the post added in too.
Yep. This one I asked them for essentially is their bulk pricing on item, not as a package deal. To be able to mix and match.
Yeah. So this your stickers of these that you don't. So, yeah, so for the, if you're looking at the summary sheet that's on the front, I think.
Yep.
Gives you the individual price, $36.25 from Rent a Flash, or whatever, $152 Science Studio. One says QR stickers, because they cannot print them on there, we'll have to buy the stickers separate. From somewhere.
Oh, so the stickers would be extra?
Yeah, they'll be extra, that one's for sure. Yep. Lasers are similar from either place.
With Rent a Flash. Looks like they're cheapest on the signs. The blazers are within a nickel of the BCD correctional, but the posts are cheapest again. Else doesn't have any other receipt on it, so I'll second. Yeah, I mean, you can save the nickel here, but
Did you catch that, Heidi?
as long as they're including the other three words, that's hardly anything.
You always got to speak up.
Rent a Flash.
Motion to go with Rent a Flash.
Okay,
You have to sit over here.
why, my seat's right here. Can't hear a word you're saying over there.
So motion by yourself, like by Donnie.
Oh, well, there, see, why am I even looking now?
You still have to vote.
No, sorry, thinking through
I didn't
this.
hear that.
It's motion to approve purchasing signs and posts from Rent a Flash.
Okay.
You might say the nickel and the blazers going somewhere else, but this way it's all coming from one place.
It's not gonna make that big a difference. What you're paying. Comes to your.
Not today's pay.
Yeah, yeah, those are orange. Plan is to use green laser to mark, the trail for ATVs and UTVs. White laser to mark, the trail for ATV only, and red would be like dead end. That way, before getting on it, that you're not gonna go. Yeah, I think,
The next 100 miles.
say it's an ATV dead end, ATV only dead end, it would be white. And I think we could put dead end right on the blazer, so they don't go again, and then the blazer, the red would be after that. That's, the best thing we've come up with, I guess, is toss around lots of ideas of how to do it cost effectively. That's where we're at, we're open to suggestions, for sure.
Simple as possible and works.
Just a matter of the person reading it.
The big information is not information. The main signs will have just a legend with those three explaining what they mean. And then, the QR code that bring you to the online up-to-date map. That would be Avenza compatible. Store that on our website. QR code. Yeah, we can change it, any day. And we already have a QR code, so.
I was gonna say, I was impressed about Eau Claire ATV Trail Club. I saw a place north of Augusta on 27, where they enter the trails there, and they have a real nice sign from the local club sponsoring it. Please do not do donuts, don't do anything. I've never seen a place with ATVs as calm as that whole parking area was. It wasn't tore up with donuts, there was no mess there, no nothing, so. Because the local clubs took ownership of it, put their own sign up, so. They got you right into their trails, so. Good to see. Next up, bolt landing. Ordinance.
We talked about this last month without an agenda item, it was just mentioned in my report. So you guys asked to have an agenda motion, if you wanna change it, or what you wanna change. If you remember, there was a question about day use only on boat landings that we maintain. And the thought was to make them open 24 hours, so
Gentleman contacted me, he said he's been fishing in Rusk County for 20 years. And he's a walleye fisherman, so he does a fair amount of after dark, walleyes. And he knew nothing about it until the signs got put up, which I'm not sure when they got put up.
we redid a bunch of boat landing signs last summer.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. And like he said, he knew nothing about it until all of a sudden these signs appeared and he called questioning it. And just wondered, like he said, I'm not there to party. He says, I go out at 8 o'clock at night. He says, sometimes as if they're lighting up, it's a moonlit night. He says, it's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning before I quit. And I was just wondering if there was something that could be, so it could be legal for him to fish when he wanted to, not when he was told he could.
I would guess a lot of people fish or unload or load at night. I don't think it should be illegal to do that. I'm guessing the ordinance was put in place for a reason. Maybe there's a problem with partying or something.
There was.
I'm assuming if the boat landing is open at night and there's a problem with partying, that can be addressed through disturbing the peace or whatever. But I agree, it should be open 24 hours to load or unload a boat.
I don't know how you phrase it to keep parties out.
The ordinance is pretty old and a lot of stuff is lumped into that kind of a thing. Boat landings don't necessarily, maybe some do.
Might have to address it base by base, as far as.
He was pretty adamant that he fishes Chippewa County, Rusk County, he said a couple other counties. We're the only ones that got them locked down to 3 hours, he says. else, he says, if you're a fisherman, he says, you're loading your boat, unloading your boat. He says camping, he understands that kind of stuff, but he says, if we're on the water, he says, and the fish are biting good, and he says, all of a sudden, it's 20 minutes to get back to the boat landing and I gotta leave, he says, that's not right.
I agree with him.
Yeah, and I do too.
So what do we need to do to basically put this back the way it was?
You can make a motion to tell me to rewrite it, you know, see what I come up with. A lot of stuff needs to be updated, I shouldn't say a lot, but, you know, the boat landing list is incomplete at this point. I was reading through it, I saw some other things that are out of date on it, so. Probably take the McGee stuff right off of it. I don't know, we don't maintain anything there, but anything.
Private, no. Is it?
No, it's mostly private. There is one small portion of county-owned land on the corner that's completely landlocked.
Yeah, but any access is private, isn't it?
It's still a town road that goes in, I think, landing,
Yeah, I think we can get to it off the road, I think.
yeah, it's the road right to the landing.
Okay, and that, okay.
I don't know who maintains the landing.
Town.
When I started here, I thought it was us, but.
That was one of the boat landings we had problems with, I mean, there are remnants of tires, big wires and stuff out there after a couple of parties.
Yeah, the mill pond shouldn't be on there. It's not a county related thing.
I don't think McGee is a public fishing thing, that's more of a duck pond than anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. One, if you want to approve it, I guess I would make the motion up here and redo this and update the boat landing stuff, but it's what it needs to be. Open our boat landings to
You know, it also says snowmobile trails are a special use area, and according to this, they should be closed at night too. That isn't right either. There's some tidying up to do on it.
Well, Mage one just motion to remove the signs for now, he can come back with.
I made the motion, have you redo it? Yeah.
Okay.
We can redo it and then, I suppose that has to go to full board. And once it passes, we'll probably buy stickers or something to cover that part of the sign up. Unfortunately, we spent thousands of dollars on those signs.
Well, that would work out, yeah, figure something out.
Yeah, we can get decals to cover them. It'll look good still.
Basically be a line item that all the boat company and the boat line needs to be open and holding. Just not few boats 24 hours a day. All I have to say.
Parking in your trailer.
Parking in your trailer, yeah. All that jazz.
Well, yeah, I could do a really simple one sentence thing like that somewhere in here.
I mean, you
I
could
kinda
put
think I should redo a lot of it.
You should redo, but like, you know,
Yeah, I mean.
number 8, if you add that into that line.
If we can cover that right now.
We still, in a change in ordinance, we still gotta go to county board. It would be better to wait until he has all the changes.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're doing something about it, I mean, the guy does understand that it ain't gonna happen with a snap of a finger, but.
Well, yeah. If he's been watching his whole life. I can't see it all.
If I get really talk to him.
Who's gonna catch it?
Man, after what you're
Talking bird, tell him.
after what you're saying though, Jared, sounds like there's a bunch of work to do in this stuff.
Yeah, yeah, this is.
I tend to agree with you with it, considering it's gotta go in front of the full board. It should go through the whole thing, and if we're gonna change it, the full board change it.
Anything else? All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Recreation maintenance. So yearly, we have contracts that are signed by the ATV club to, allowing them to maintain the trails and then us to give them the maintenance money from the state. Also the snowmobile club, in a similar way, except with those, it's broken into several snowmobile clubs, individual contracts. For a few years, we've been trying to work towards going to a one contract with County Snowmobile Council. I think they'll never be ready for it if we wait for them to be ready for it. And I think if we're going to do that, then we should just do that. We can.
Jared, not to cut you off, but would that change, or would that interrupt anything in how all the individual ones are paid?
It would change it. Maybe Heidi can explain that a little better.
So it would be, instead of us monitoring, this club gets this much, or this club gets that much, and this club gets that much, that's held to the association. They make that decision. They can use the same way we've always done it, but they would be the ones that would break that check out. We would write one check as a county to the association, they disseminate it. It's up to them, they do it how they wanna do it, we just have to cut the one check. And then when it comes to final reimbursement, once the county as whole has reached this, we can just cut that second check, they can distribute it how they want to. If they wanna play that, cause we end up in this cycle where this club submits stuff, that club didn't, this club forgot to, this club put in extra, and then we're kinda like the ones that they're coming at for it, to break it down and justify it, versus it can just go through the association and they can handle it themselves.
What it will do is save us a lot of work on our end.
But is it gonna create you more problems on the backside?
Big time.
That's
Well,
what I might fear.
It won't create problems for us.
Until they come and
It'll
say,
be a challenge for the clubs, and Jared knows this, it'll be a challenge for them to come to figure out how to manage this.
if the association doesn't give them what they want, they're still gonna come to us and say, hey, you guys gotta do something about this.
I don't know, most counties do it this way, and I don't think there's an issue.
We're one of
They're
two
an
counties
alliance,
that
though.
do it this way.
They are an alliance where the county association actually technically owns all their groomers and they go out to everybody. Our clubs, we all own our own equipment, we budget all our own money.
Some are both ways, and still.
They still do it, but I just don't think with the way our alliance is now, probably not work for Rusk County unless we go with work.
Yeah, it'd be challenging, I agree with that.
I would say
You're gonna need some leadership within that alliance. Hash it out, work together rather than fight against each other.
with the SNARs coming out the way it is now, it's definitely getting easier for those clubs. And if we did it,
That's part of the reason it's almost the perfect time to make the change. You know, if we're not going to, that's fine. Doesn't matter, it would save our department a lot of work though, as Heidi explained.
Sure, I'm gonna defer to someone that knows a little more about the alliance than I do. Probably you or anybody else in here, but I mean, I understand it, but I don't understand it, if that makes sense.
the problem we have with our alliance is it's all donated, like the club, it's all donated time. Now we're sticking them on, to run a program on donated time to do all this. And our secretary and our treasurer probably ain't gonna do it. Yeah, they got enough to deal with just we're just doing our maps every year, because they only meet 4 times a year. Not like they have a meeting every month.
Yeah, the whole snowmobile program statewide is all volunteer.
Right.
That's what it's all based on.
it's, you know, it's, the state pays the county to run the program. I mean, you don't get a lot to run the program, but you're running a snow and build program in Rusk County, out of the Forestry Department. And it's been that way for years, well, since it ever started, so. I wouldn't wanna take it, I wouldn't vote to take it out.
I'll be honest with you, I see problems. I guess again, I don't know exactly what, but I see problems.
It would prevent problems like them coming at us when they fail to do their part, like they did last year. Like I said, I don't care either way. We can continue to do it, but it's not consistent with no fall. And it does burn up a lot of our time and resources. We brought this early this year, normally it's not till July or August, so if you wanna go look into it more, or have someone from another county
Let's look into it some more.
look into it, or
I'd
something.
like to talk to our alliance, some of our members, and see what they think about it.
Okay.
Just some more of our other snowmobile clubs and everything, and see what they think.
Yeah. Can you do that?
I'll check with them.
I can get you some contact information.
I got it all.
Okay, from other counties, I mean.
Not from other counties, but just,
Would have been if you guys talked to the other counties first, so you get like an idea, like present the idea. Just, let them know what the other counties are doing.
I don't, like, even to change trails, it's not gonna change the work out of your office, cause we gotta do it through there anyways. You know, when we have trail moves, we have all this stuff, it's,
Yeah, reroutes would still be handled by us.
I mean, that's a lot of it, is the reroutes and when we move a trail and. I mean, if the clubs are, the SNARS is helping, so it should actually start cutting down on some of the work. Where, you know, we're not really turning into your office now, we're turning into SNARS, and then SNARS turns it into you. And you gotta, you know, approve it to the state. So it's helping compared to
Yep.
4 years ago.
For sure.
I remember 4 years ago, you took a stack of papers, you handed it in, this is how many hours we got, and it was a headache.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, the way we're going now, it should be healthy.
Yep. So. Table it for now and.
I think, yeah, we usually sign them in November, I think it is, our first county meeting.
When do we usually get?
They've been sent out in July, August, September, it changes. So it's,
Yeah, cause Mike would bring them to our normal, our first association meeting, and we all sign them.
Yeah, I just know that we've been talking about moving this way for quite a while, 2 years. Thought we were gonna present it that way. So for this, we can approve the ATV one today, right?
they want to.
That's totally separate deal. It's already. It's one club. And it's consistent with what we've done other years. Yeah, I think it's the same. For exactly the same.
Changes,
Maybe the mileage probably changed.
No, mileage didn't even change
Okay.
on it, so. No, it's the same. We just updated the top dates.
That's for the ATV one?
So you need a motion to approve the,
Oh, why don't we just table the first one since it's not possible item? Hold on.
The snowmobile.
Yeah, table the snowmobile one.
motion to table.
Is there a second? Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, carried. Now on to the ATV. Discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, carried.
A land donation. Nick Stadnick and myself had a, phone conference call with landowners from that land that we talked about last month. just south of Trails End Camp. Filling them in with mostly what Nick's ambitions are for that property. They were very excited, happy to hear that someone wants to use it for educational stuff, projects like that, so that's still moving ahead. I don't have anything really other than that update. Nick worked with, we talked to, Rich. So Rich recommended they send us a letter requesting that they can donate these to us, and then Rich can draft paperwork with a resolution to accept that, and then you guys will pass that resolution. If you approve, and then put it to the full board. I would think next month we'll have that resolution. If, I know it's moving forward, but very positive, phone calls. It sounds like we'll be getting some free money.
CDLs?
So I had Heidi looking at CDLs and stuff. As you know, we need someone with a CDL to move the skid steer around that we rent from highway. We paid a highway guy a couple days in spring for dock placements, and we'll do it again this fall for removals. And then this summer with the mowing, the way the mowing goes is you mow a little bit and then you move to another spot. It's not like, sometimes you could drop it off for a full day of mowing perhaps, and that would be kinda easy. But basically we need a CDL on our department to be able to move that machine. We're burning money in our budget by paying another person's wage CDL out of the highway department. I would like to have someone with a CDL as we had before. So Heidi talked to people at the driving school by Lake Holcomb, I forget the name of the place. Hands-on CDL driving school. It's looking like about $2,500 with the test maximum, plus like $75 for the permit to get us what we need. I am hoping that the county would pay for Alex to go through this and get a CDL.
Here, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Right now I hold 4 licenses. Ball colors, air conditioning, whatever, and they were gotten for my place of employment at the time. There's nobody backed me up on that stuff. If I wanted that job, that's what I had to do on my own to hold that job.
I'll back that up too. I've got every class under the book except for hazmat, and I wanted to drive a truck. I had to get my own CDL, I went through the own schooling, I paid for my own schooling, my choice.
So I was hoping to require a CDL, and then if that was the case, we required it for employment, I would agree, they need to do it or they don't get to be hired here. Since the board didn't wanna require a CDL, kinda stuck.
Well, maybe, but I don't think we should pay for somebody's CDL either.
So what would be the option if we don't pay for a CDL? We continue to use the highway, and then every
How
time
much
they
did
get
it cost, and how much did it cost for the highway to move the stuff? Do we have numbers?
Do you have the numbers?
So, I broke it down somewhat, you're gonna have to read my check, scratch your.
Blow it
Yeah,
up.
I'll be there. It's a weird mouse I'm working on. So So this is where we were at, this was the bill we received, they had two different people, one had 7 hours, one had 3, these were their rates, this was the total for those days. And then we had to pick up the trailer and the skid steer, so it's kind of my chicken scratch of how we got there. So, but ultimately what I did is I broke it down, if we continue to use them, the equipment rate, their wages, and what it would, what that total comes down to and how many hours we could get of mowing by using our staff versus their staff, so.
So right now, the highway guy doesn't do anything except haul a trailer, right? He doesn't mow or anything when he's there?
This is all based on the mowing, and with that, we can pay our guy out of the Habitat grant. So if we're gonna be paying a highway guy out of it instead, we're still paying our guy somehow, so these numbers don't account for that additional cost and wages. We still have to pay, granted, he could be getting other work done. So I get where you guys are coming from about the, have to do it yourself, and that was required for employment, but if we pay for somebody's training, they have that training for the rest of our employment, and it's really to the county's benefit.
Or they could have it for a month and leave.
But
Got it for
Well,
nothing.
we could train, I mean, if somebody starts a new job and a month later
I
they
don't
quit.
agree with that. You can sit here and color me a picture all day long. You want something bad enough, and if you want a job, and if you have to,
But our job,
get a CDL, then get the CDL.
but the job doesn't require it.
Yeah.
The job does require, it because now we're asking for it.
Is that part of the,
It's not in the job description.
it's not our job description?
You can't pay the highway worker out of the Habitat money.
Yeah, I believe we can.
This is my concern. Paying a forester $37 an hour, the highway worker's at 24.
No, we'd be paying Alex, I don't know what he makes,
2330,
2330.
so he's here,
Paying what, less than the highway worker?
yes, he makes less than highway worker.
As of now, what happens in a year or two, or we're still renting the machine from highway anyways. They're charging for the trailer.
What's the cost difference between our guy and highway?
So
70
here's,
cents?
yeah, so, but keep in mind too, here, you're paying for a truck, trailer, and skid steer, whereas here, we're paying for a trailer and a skid steer. Cause typically, we've been able to not have to pay for the truck. Borrowing them, so it all kinda depends on your give and take on it. And then
Borrow one, pay for another one, they're all county.
in here,
We use.
this is the average, this is the
It
average
doesn't
of
make any
red
sense.
mowing,
You said it, I don't know.
so.
We do borrow the maintenance one time upfront, and they don't charge you.
Well, somehow the fleet gets paid for that, so it's still getting paid somehow.
Yeah, much cheaper than that rate.
How many hours a year of mowing do you do?
Last year, so in 21, we did 53.1, in 2020, we had 58.2.
A week and a half. You're gonna pay $2,500 to get somebody a CDL for a week and a half worth of work?
Well, there's also a week of dock put in and dock put out in the fall, plus additional skid steer work.
Sometimes we put the winches on the trucks for.
We do use that for many of them. And, yeah, a lot of them are. But there's other.
$42 a year difference in wages to have the highway department have Alex do it. Pay for a 2,500 CDL that takes
Right,
few
but,
years.
So I guess that's the question, are they mowing or are they just moving equipment? Cause that was, like, I couldn't break that number down so if you got highway worker that's moving stuff around and you got Alex, if you're only paying out of Habitat, you're only at like maybe 15 hours of funds, cause we only have the 4165, 41 to spend out of Habitat, that's it, that's what we get. So, if you're using highway, then are we paying two people? Because Alex is mowing and the highway worker is moving equipment? Or are we, you know what I mean?
So does the highway worker doesn't mow generally? When they're doing that, they just move the equipment and drive back to the highway shop and then come back over. So then you got a person that's kinda driving around a lot, whereas if you're the person working on the job, you're driving to the job.
So what's the incentive to that 23 an hour?
What's the incentive for that?
What would be an incentive to give the CDL on his own? What could we give him for an incentive other than paying for it?
I don't know, it's $500. $500.
No. Well, what responsibility to take somebody else's driver's license? Driver's license are a privilege.
I look at it as training, and I'm all for as much training as we can get.
Okay. Cool.
I see it similar to Jeremy Jacobs asked to pay for their licenses, which was approved last month or the month before. What's the difference? Granted, he's gonna absorb that in his budget yearly. This would, I can't say this is a one-time thing. Cause you're right, he could leave next month, or he could leave in 10 years. Maybe it is a one-time thing.
What about if he had to pay it back if he didn't, if he quit within 2 years?
Are you gonna put a fund away, pull a fund out of him for X amount a year and have it sit there until he stays after that point, so that way you can have that money to guarantee he paid it back?
Furnish his last check or something.
I don't know. You're gonna have him sign a contract then, and pull that out, and you have to stash it away until you get to that 2,500.
I'd rather not, but it sounds like that's silly. I'm just looking for options for you to gamble. I think it's a good idea.
Normally with any place, if you have your CDL, you get a higher pay. So now we're gonna pay for a CDL, then he's gonna want a higher pay for it.
Well, then the other part, there are outfits that'll pay for your training and your CDL, but you sign a 5 or a 7-year contract to drive for them.
2-year contract for sure.
You know what the
That's
state,
the minimum I've heard. A couple I checked was 5.
But that's how they get their money back on. So, are we looking to do that? Over $2,500? Or you can just run down and do it yourself?
it's not gonna do it, so.
Or if you get your CDL to get the job, you don't have the job. Here we already have a guy hired, we want to do a little bit more, save the county some money, so we don't have somebody on the equipment and somebody on the mower at the same time, which is a waste of money, you know. Russ Phil's agreed.
It looks like it's only the fills.
It's cause you guys are just giving it, you know, nobody's gonna earn or do anything on their own, just hand it to them.
So if my boss said, you're gonna be a more valuable employee if you go to this training, but you're gonna pay for it on your own, I'd be like, no.
Exactly.
You go to the training, but if he said, okay, I'll pay for the training, I'll be like, okay. And he probably wouldn't give me a raise over it, but he'd say you're gonna help the company.
That's a different scenario though, Phil.
And
Everywhere it's completely.
I guess I would look at this completely different if the CDL was needed 9 months out of the year. But you're talking 58 hours?
There's
Comes out
lots
to
of
us.
other parks projects where we use a skid steer to spread gravel or dirt or moves trees, small projects, rock all the time. There's other stuff that's not counted on that, that's just done more grant.
we can coordinate with highway and make stuff get done. Be a lot more efficient, logistically, if they had a CDL in their department. And I agree with Jerry, I don't want a forester with a CDL, that doesn't make sense, it should be a technician, and that's ours.
But I'm sure we got plenty of other stuff to do besides. And we're giving highway some other work, I mean, that department's job is fixing stuff already, but, I mean. Getting their machines anyway, their trucks and their trailers and their machines running. Almost looking at.
Can highway not be just hired to do the mowing?
Still going from one county department to another. Problem is, they got such a big machine.
We could buy a smaller, skid steer mower and trailer, and get by without a CDL.
Not even my little machine is over 11,000 pounds.
Doesn't take much to know.
One more time, Bob.
Rice Lake Radio's been advertising the Barron campus, they're doing CDL classes over there for employers that need employees at a discount. On July 11th, I think the date was. That was looking into.
We didn't look into that one, we looked into this hands-on CDL driving school.
Well, this is a certified, according to what I'm hearing, certified class, Rice Lake at Barron campus.
We could look into other options. Guessing they'll come out similar, but I could be wrong. The DNR sent some guys to Fox Valley Tech this spring. That was a little higher, I think it was closer to 3,000 instead of 2,500. 2 or 3 weeks as well.
Well, we need a motion one way or the other here to resolve this, so. Motion to deny or to do?
I'll have the motion to deny.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed?
No.
No. Equipment trucks concerned.
So. We have 7 trucks. 5 of them are over 100,000 miles, the other 2 are around 50. A couple of them are rust buckets, one of them is held together by rebar and some welding that was done at a local shop. We need a new truck, and I'm hoping to get approval for a new truck. The one we get rid of is the 3/4 ton extended cab. We'd like to replace it with an equivalent truck.
Do we have it?
We were gonna get a truck last year and that ended up not happening, I think the need was needed elsewhere.
So do we have it in the budget, or will this be for the next budget?
Assuming the fleet would be for 2 years.
I didn't know that ain't money in the fleet.
Refer to Ashley and see what she thinks.
On purchasing a new pickup, there are safety concerns with that truck, right?
There are, with a couple of them. We've had 3 trucks in and out of the highway shop all summer, pretty much down a truck almost all the time. as you know, we work in the Blue Hills or elsewhere where there's limited cell service. When a truck breaks down, you might have to walk 2 miles to get a call out if it's 100 degrees out or if it's 30 below. I don't like sending my guys out in those conditions with an unreliable vehicle.
How many miles did you say you're on?
One I would get rid of. This is from March 31st, so it's not quite up to date, close, 139 that time.
The engine's going bad on that already.
Yeah, we had highway working on the engine, some sensors.
I got like 300,000 on my truck.
The other one has 160. But I think we'll keep that one in the name of getting rid of the worst one, unless you'd like to get 2 trucks. It's kind of a joke. Kind of not. Our fleet is aging and they're in rough shape.
Thank you, Jared, I mean, you know, tonight you need what you need to do your job, but I think it would be something that would probably have to be run through the budget for 24. So don't really got a new budget this year.
I assume we have a fleet for that purpose.
Right, it would come out of the fleet. There's no money there either though. I guess, I was talking to John, we can maybe bring back some quotes so we know exactly what we're looking at.
I'm gonna say that we're probably not gonna get a new vehicle when you got 140,000 miles on a vehicle.
Well, could you get quotes for some used?
I'll drive it, yeah.
Okay, but I would also like to
Sounds like a
mention,
2-cylinder tractor.
you guys were approved for a new vehicle back last summer.
Yep.
And that ended up not working out. So, this committee has already,
Well, they never bought the,
Well, it comes down to, when we go buy a brand new vehicle,
does it have to be brand new though?
take it up into the Blue Hills and down these logging roads. It's not a good look to the public. Half the public can't afford a brand new vehicle, but we can buy them and go beat them. They only last 140,000 miles.
well, it gets hard on them.
I don't feel comfortable putting a brand new vehicle for what we're doing with them. They're not lasting.
Get a used vehicle, it's gonna last you years.
So Jared, what you probably need to do is get some quotes on some used vehicles. And come back to us on it. Cause you've already, actually, you said we already approved it last year for a new one. So I don't see the reason why we couldn't do the used one. At least update.
What year is that?
The worst one out of the fleet.
The oldest one is a 2008. No, yes, 2008. Yeah, that's not here.
How many miles that one on it, Jared?
March 31st, 139,133. The box was welded back on a couple of years ago already. Rebar.
So in other words, powertrain and everything's good, just everything
So
around.
what is the, you guys drive these through salt and everything else like normal Wisconsin, how do you guys wash these when you're done for the day? What's, maintenance for upkeep on them?
They're only washed when they get old.
So maybe that would be a starter, I mean, if I'm gonna buy new equipment, I wanna make sure that there'd be a maintenance program, that we're not buying it and then not taking care of it.
Yeah. So who's gonna wash a truck every day?
Where do we do it?
$40 an hour,
We don't have somewhere to wash our trucks at our shop.
What's that?
We don't have a place to wash our trucks at our shop in the winter.
We got anything? We take it to the highway shop. It's a horrible use of our time, but if that's what you want, do it.
I was buying a brand new vehicle.
Well, the new vehicle's $70,000. So a little water goes a long ways to save a $70,000 vehicle 3 more years down the road. That's just not even an answer.
agree.
None of us would do that to our personal vehicles.
Exactly.
Other than Jay.
I mean, yeah, as far as that goes, it's cheaper to take it through it than a car wash. At least get the salt off.
Yeah, we were.
Is the frame bad on that one?
Or just a box.
I know what property can say, so.
Well, we can move on, I'll try to throw it on a budget or something for next year.
That would probably be the best.
Have highway do an inspection on it, if the boxes are rusted. Highway's gonna be going this way too, cause the boxes are what rusts out on the most. We're looking at, it's cheaper to put a flatbed on than, but you can still haul a four-wheeler, still do the stuff you need, the boxes on the side. If it prolongs the truck for another 5-10 years, the rest of it's still good. Just, I can't see buying new trucks for what we're doing if they're only lasting 140,000 miles.
One I'm driving was got 420.
Maybe a 350.
So you're gonna come back with something then, Jared, is that what you said?
Well, do you want used quotes or not?
I'm kinda watching the three over there, but, you know, I can't hear them, but I can.
Oh, we're talking how many miles are on our truck, I got 300, he's got 350, he's got.
So do we want him to come back with used quotes on the vehicle? Technically, they should, one, because they were approved last year for.
Yeah, the sheriff took the fleet money.
He did, into a negative in the fleet.
So I gotta talk to Jeff.
I'm trying, Jerry.
I tend to
Yeah,
agree with.
it seems like the fleet's inadequate, I mean.
Yeah, the
why
fleet's
is
a
that?
lot.
Now that we're starting to bill mileage correctly, it should eventually build up.
And if we went to allow somebody to just go buy a bunch of vehicles, and run the fleet in the negative, would be in a better shape anyways, but.
Jared, I tend to agree with Jerry, and there's nothing against you guys and what you pay. But if we buy something brand new, we're gonna take a $10,000 or $15,000 hit, plug, right there, just for driving it off the lot. If a guy does some shopping around, there's some awful nice used stuff out there with 20,000-30,000 miles on it. And somebody else took the $10,000 or $15,000 hit for driving it off the lot instead of the taxpayers.
Don't stay around Wisconsin, cost us a lot of state.
Although the state rate is much better than what you would pay brand new on your own.
And the highway part is highway.
Usually we get them awfully cheap, but I don't know what that equates to.
Cause I remember when Jeremy brought it up, I was surprised at the price of the truck compared to
Oh, here to find out.
what you normally pay new to the
That's
state.
why I have a hell of a party.
Yeah, it's considerably off.
How would you drive down and drive back? Continue.
They're easy.
The last truck we got with a winch was like 32,000.
That was a 3/4 ton.
3/4 ton, what year was that? Granted, it's a different world right now, but even for the time, 32,000 is what I think it was. That's a 2019 Chevy Silverado. 3/4 ton.
I threw my idea out. I threw it over to that side of the table, thinking.
I'll trade trucks with them. I'll trade.
Alright.
You're gonna regret that. You haven't seen my truck. My
Right,
again until we have to drive it out. Well, you're trading with the intern. Well, we can dig around for some used numbers. I don't know how that works, if you find something that's good and then you gotta wait 2 or 3 weeks for a committee meeting and a property meeting, and by the time you get there, it's sold, I don't know. But we'll look.
And anybody on the committee, is this a good deal, talk to her, oh, yeah. How on that?
We should still think about next month's agenda, it's called public policy on. They're only lasting 140,000 miles, we're doing something wrong.
They're not getting washed or things down. I'll tell you that right now, before I, they do need to be rinsed at least once a week or whatever. I mean,
Next month's agenda for discussion. Some kind of policy, work on policy here. Think about it for next one.
Got that noted, Betty?
Okay, anything else on that? Not with our sustainable forestry plan.
Next round for sustainable forestry grant applications is here. I would like to apply for $30,000 for infrastructure improvements for Rearguard, Excelsior, Moosier roads, need gravel, as well as some storm cleanup. So if you guys are in favor of that, motion is needed for the application.
So,
Second. John, second. Any discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, carried. Timber sale bond confiscation,
Darren Duncan, contract 2591, you got his check for $26,950. And contract 2582. Norton Lumber, we got, Norton Lumber, 18,485, we got a check for. So these are two of the sales that you offered 40% increase, cash bond, or turn the sale back. If these guys wanna turn the sale back, we got the check. We just need a motion to close the sales. Technically complicated.
is there a second? Discussion?
these tracks come back around.
Yeah, we're gonna look at them, hopefully this summer yet, and see if the paint's still good enough out there to sell them this fall. If they need to be remarked or something, we'll get that done, and probably sell them in the spring. See how
Curious what that's the first time I've been in.
Yep.
See how it's-
They'll come back through.
Okay, we'll jump past the closed session, save that at the end. Stay, please. County gravel.
There's no closed session. We were waiting on a couple of those, so I thought, we just got no closed session. No closed session.
Out of county travel,
Nothing at this.
Could I turn my own
what's your video? Looking good on budget. Nothing else, then we'll go down to review and approve bills. Questions or motion to approve?
How many dumpsters?
shop.
Murphy Flowage, Audie Lake, Birch Lake, Rosie Creek.
They all do the same company or.
They're all for Republic.
I believe that's all of them, right?
Yes, so right now campgrounds are being picked up once a week and the shop is once a month.
2 yards or 5? What did you say? 2 yards. 2 yards. I was just curious because ours got bought out by the Republic and I'm paying 55. They have those maybe a lot of sites or.
I saw it in the
Yearly contract, 60 to 55. I was wondering, yeah.
We pay like a surcharge for campgrounds, cause there's something around there or something, like there's some year.
I was just curious.
We're with Republic with a 2 yard every 2 weeks, we're 55, and then there's with the other stuff we added on, it's like 64.50 or something like that.
And they're picking up what? Every week at the campground? or-
Every week, yep.
Okay, makes sense.
When winter comes, then we cut it back to no pickup. Sure.
Right, right.
Motion to approve the bills.
Already did that.
Like, they must have one.
Floor's got a,
Most people have during that time.
I was looking at some stuff up there.
My question was, if you don't feel like you want to ask highway users how much do you feel, you know what I mean? But I didn't, that's why I asked how many you had, cause now you got a campground, so they can pay it when they look into it.
I mean, there's been discussion, I remember about dumpsters a lot in the past.
Yeah,
The whole county has all these different.
right, we wanted to consolidate so the county's only got one contract for the whole county. Yes.
what's this?
The bills.
The bills.
Your billing has been.
I didn't, you guys, I don't know what you guys came up with.
Refrigerated trucks,
Yeah, this is your.
You guys probably have a really good reason to think that's a good deal. My mechanic made me buy another vehicle because he said you really shouldn't drive this too very far.
Ours might be a little bit.
He sent me some pictures and I was like,
Yep.
Next meeting, July 19th.
We'll cancel it.
the frame's cracked
Anything else?
and it's twisted.
We're adjourned.
Next call.
Nope,
No.
we're not doing it.
Next month meeting?
July 8th.
The 12th,
19.
19th, good.
2019.
No.
3 o'clock yet?